Hello, everyone. So, today we are going to speak about stress management, and we have Miss Sonal Chadda here with us, a senior psychologist. And she's been in this field for 8 years now, and she holds masters in MPhil in clinical psychology and given wonderful results in field of fertility. So we are honored to have her here. So I'll just hand over the mic to Sonal, and the stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you for such a warm welcome. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing good. So, today we are going to talk about stress. Now, stress is something very common. We all experience something very familiar to us. But the point is, how do we manage stress? How do we navigate our life with this active stress that we have? Now, stress can be something about the daily routine. Stress can be something that is there in my life, bringing discomfort to me. So, when we want to understand stress, I like to use an analogy here. So, I want you all to imagine a jar. Imagine a big jar completely empty. Once you start to imagine that jar, imagine small stones into it, small pebbles that represent daily hassles or your needs, expectations that causes worry to you, like traffic, or let's say I want to be perfect in everything that I'm doing, or let's say workload at office, some deadlines to meet. So represent them with small pebbles and see which pebble you would like to put into the jar and which pebble you would not like to put into the jar. Once you settle those pebbles, then I want you to add sand to it. The sand that we are adding to the jar is actually like the self care, the way we help ourselves to manage those small pebbles. It will give some stability to that. And then slowly and gradually, we will be adding the bigger rocks. The bigger rocks actually are the task that we need to prioritize in our life. And why it is important for us to choose bigger rocks to be prioritized, and why we need to put small rocks more carefully is because when you're filling that jar, you can put a lot of small pebbles which can weigh really heavy, and it'll make very difficult for you to pick them out slowly and gradually. Whereas when we choose the rocks and we put into our jar, they are comparatively easier to pick. So they are more controlled in our life. We're able to manage. And even if we put how many pebbles and stones, the jar will never be fully, complete until unless we put sand into it. And that sand will add the coping strategies. And these would be the three key areas that we are going to talk about. How do we identify the small rocks? How do we identify the big rocks in our life? And then how do we add more sand and more water to make it, to make that jar afloat for us and not sink in the bottom. So let's move forward and understand the basic. Can we identify stress? It's one of the most basic thing. हम सब बोलते हैं दिन में 10 बारी बोलते होंगे कि मुझे स्ट्रेस हो रहा है. But my question is, can you identify the signs of stress? And if you can, I'll be happy if you can type in the chat box. Let's just wait and see how we all feel stress. And there is no right and a wrong answer when we're talking about stress. It is something very subjective that you feel. You can feel differently than me. So let's see what answers are coming for us. Right. Someone mentioned when they feel irritable, True. Someone typed that they're spending too much time in thinking. That's also a way stress can show. Okay. Someone is typing not going out, isolating themselves. That's one of the most common ways as adult we do. We try to avoid that situation, that particular moment, and we just want to go back and hide. That's absolutely true. Okay. There's one person who mentioned her sleeps get compromised. So, how many of you have sleep difficulty? And we just sleep because we're tired, but our mind is constantly on. I can see a lot of hand raise on this one. It's a common thing. Sleep is a trouble, and sleep is something for us because the entire day we have so many distractions. The moment we are in bed, that's our me time. We're with ourselves, and that's when everything starts, crawling back. ये नहीं हुआ, ये ठीक नहीं है, वो नहीं हो रहा, ऐसा है. And that time we start feeling the discomfort in our own self. Every answer is right. For some, they can feel differently as well. I'm surprised that none of you wrote that we end up having fight with our partner or loved ones or family. We very easily at times just snap at them. And we know within ourselves it was not their fault. But because we are so overwhelmed in our head and the way we are feeling, we end up doing that. We just feel it was not even in our control. So let's move forward. Okay. So I've got this activity for you. It's a story of Radhika. And Radhika is 34 years old and she's trying to conceive. I want you all to stay here on this story and read it. Spend some time. And then in this story, what is there for you all? There are different ways the stress can show. So I want you to identify those different ways. So I'll just give you some time to read it. Take your time, read the story. Once you're done reading, you can use the chat box. And in that chat box, you can mention how does Radhika's stress show for you? Okay, I can see answers coming in. Okay, one of the answer is sleep disturbance. That's true, we just talked about it. The other one is feeling anxious. Yes. Now, anxiety can show not just by feeling overwhelmed. Anxiety can also show in restlessness, uneasiness, even palpitation if it gets a little intense more. We will be talking about that further as well. Yeah, that's true. The way she's avoiding going on the birthday party, that's also is something that we just talked about. Her attention concentration, absolutely true. A very common thing when we feel mentally overloaded, we end up forgetting things. Our concentration gets compromised because our mind is already preoccupied with that situation, preoccupied with that stressor. And due to that stressor, it is very difficult to focus on that task and makes it very difficult. Okay. If we see her stress responses, One of the stress responses mentioned here, that's constant fatigue. How many of you feel that? बस ऐसा लगता है कि थकावट है, कुछ करने का मन नहीं है. To, get up in the morning, you have to really push yourself hard. Or during the day, there is a sudden dip in energy, and you have to fight to have that energy. That's also a response of stress. And another response that we can see, she ends up crying because she's feeling so helpless about it that there is a sense of sadness, and that sadness leads to crying spell for her. So stress is not only impacting one area कि हम सोच ज्यादा रहे हैं. Stress is actually impacting your mind, body, your relationships, everything. All the more reason that we need to manage this stress, because the impact is just not on you, but it's also on the people and the surrounding and the environment you're in. And even if we think it's just on me, is it fair to carry that burden? So let's understand how stress can further impact, and let's also understand how stress is actually good or bad. So to understand actually the entire quantum of stress is not bad. It's a myth कि तनाव बुरा है. Tanav is on a quantum where there is an aspect of stress that's actually good also. Now imagine a situation where you have an exam tomorrow and you don't feel like going or studying or doing anything. Will you study for it? You just don't feel the fear or discomfort of getting less marks or failing. It's absolutely okay. We'll not study, or we'll push it for later. अभी थोड़ी देर में पढ़ लेते. So if you see the green one, where we have mentioned too little stress. So too little stress end up making us inactive. End up making us have a laid back attitude. So stress is important in terms of optimizing ourselves. So let's say you have discomfort कि कल exam है, मुझे पढ़ना है, and I need to study, you will study for it. And you are able to focus, have concentration, there's a productivity out of it, you're not procrastinating, you're not delaying. That's an optimum stage of stress, where what is expected from you, you're delivering exactly that. But let's say it moves ahead to that. You have that stress, but you're not able to focus. Or the stress has made you not take an adequate break only. You're constantly just studying and studying and studying, not eating, not sleeping, not keeping yourself hydrated, not doing anything apart from it. Eventually, there'll be a settling of fatigue. एक टायर्डनेस की फीलिंग, एक exhaustion की फीलिंग सेटल होने लगेगी. एग्जॉशन जब कंप्लीटली सेटल इन हो जाता है तो ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे take a single step is also very hard. अब कुछ भी करना is very hard. When you're feeling that you have to give up, but you're not giving up, and there's a push in your system also, but there's a pull also. जब ये वाली stage आ जाती है कि there's a push and pull fight happening, and you're in tiredness, exhaustion, overwhelmed, agitated, irritated, your body is tired, that's the stage of exhaustion. Once that exhaustion starts to settle in, and even then we are not prioritizing taking care of ourselves, then slowly and gradually it turns into a stage of burnout. Burnout is when your mind and body has given up on handling that situation anymore. It's just a pure tiredness leading to a point where there is no resources to reinvest is left. At this point, taking care of yourself is the utmost priority, no matter what. So at this time, usually the emotional response are also intense. यहाँ पर सिर्फ घबराहट बेचैनी नहीं होगी, यहाँ घबराहट बेचैनी इंटेंस होगी, इसके साथ palpitation, shortness of breath, discomfort settling in your body, sleep disturbing, nausea कई लोगों को रहता है, पैनिक अटैक में आने लगता है, पैनिक अटैक एंगर आउटबर्स्ट होने लगते हैं. So it's an intense emotional response. And that intense emotional response, even if not managed, we're not taking care, will lead to a mental health breakdown. So your body never give up on you on the first day. Our body is very kind, our mind is very kind. We are designed to survive and repair. So we constantly try to manage, and manage. But as an adult, there's not going to be any external help going to come your way immediately to help you feel good or feel managed about it. वो भी हमें खुद ही करना. It is our duty now. So we have to stay, if we say, in the stage of optimum stress. But optimum stress में भी हमें अपना take care जरूर करना. We need to give windows of relaxation. We need to give windows of ease. We need to give windows where we can breathe without worrying about something. Now, a lot of you will say कि हम तो ट्राई करते हैं बट हमारा माइंड में कुछ ना कुछ चलता रहता है. We can't put switch off. That's true because we have crossed the stage of optimum stress. We have already entered into a stage of too much stress. अब कोई ऐसी चीज है जो हमें कॉन्स्टेंटली बॉदर कर रही है, और अगर वैसा है, कुछ कॉन्स्टेंटली बॉदर कर रहा है, तो जब हम फ्री माइंड से बैठेंगे वो ओवरटेक करने की कोशिश करेगा, बिकॉज रेस्ट ऑफ द टाइम तो हम उसे इग्नोर कर रहे हैं, हम उसको इतनी अटेंशन ही नहीं दे रहे कि वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज हैपनिंग टू मी, व्हाई आई एम बॉदर्ड अबाउट इट. ईदर दैट थॉट डोमिनेट्स मी, वो स्पाइरल बन जाता है, मैं फ्यूचर को लेके वरी करती हूँ, पास्ट को लेके वरी करती हूँ, मैं कंपैरिजन साइकिल में फंस जाती हूँ, व्हाई माय लाइफ इज लाइक दैट एंड अदर्स आर हैविंग अ बेटर लाइफ. या तो मैं उसमें ओवर इन्वॉल्व रहती हूँ, या फिर इवेंचुअली आई लुक एट इट फ्रॉम अ स्पेस कि मैं अपने आप को डिस्ट्रैक्टेड, बट आई एम नॉट मैनेजिंग दैट स्ट्रेस. So to bring yourself back from too much stress or burnout to optimum level of stress, we need to take care of ourselves. So before we jump into the ways of taking care of ourselves, I do want to stay a little bit more on stress. So as we were talking about, the stress can be seen in different ways. So these are the ways where you can see the stressors. You can see that physically, जिसको हम कहते हैं कि bodily भी stress impact करता है. Stress is not just emotional. Your entire body, head to toe, can have a response of stress. Starting from headaches, body aches. Okay, how many of you have digestive issues? कितनों के साथ ऐसा होता है कि जब ओवरवेलमिंग हो जाता है, स्ट्रेस हो जाता है, तो नॉजिया की फीलिंग या डायरिया की फीलिंग या स्टमक का अपसेट हो जाना, any of that, or for some people, those who have irritable bowels, even that also triggers. Anyone that feels that way? I can see hand raise coming. It is, your gut is considered your second brain. So your second brain also feel triggered and in discomfort because your brain is in discomfort. Then sleep disturbance, we've talked about it. Sleep disturbance is just not कि मुझे नींद नहीं आ रही. That's one way that we have difficulty in falling asleep. Sleep difficulty is also कि नींद आ गई पर बार बार टूट रही है, या बहुत सारे सपने आ रहे हैं एंड दे आर scary dreams, or they are dreams of chasing something, or they are dreams of trying to reach and grab something, but that's not happening. They also show restlessness. Then also another important factor with sleep is कि सुबह हम उठे but हम उतना fresh feel नहीं कर रहे. We're still feeling heaviness, we're still feeling tiredness, we just want to go back and sleep. Then change in appetite. Now appetite can go, it can decrease or it can increase. So it can be that we start indulging in emotional eating. बहुत stress हो रहा है, sugar cravings बढ़ती हैं. People end up eating. कई लोगों का appetite का complete loss हो जाता है. They don't feel like eating. They feel pukish with the food. Or they feel they're already very full and heavy. They don't want to put anything in the system. Then another area of discomfort is that your immune system is also, in a toss. So you are more prone to infections and illness. Heart related issues. Now, heart related issues are not something that थोड़ा सा तनाव लेते ही हो जाता है, ऐसा नहीं है. Yes, it can, increase your blood pressure, which can increase the heart rate also. But at the same time, अगर ये stressors long term रहते हैं, fluctuation long term रहती है, then it contributes into heart disease. Otherwise, ऐसा नहीं है कि थोड़ा सा stress हुआ और heart disease हो जाएगी. So people who have tendency of high BP or have stress related palpitations, they should take care of their heart health. Then muscle tension and pain. Muscle tension, we all know that throughout our body, muscles hai. Muscles hold the tension. So it's like, imagine you're standing on your toes for 5 hours straight. Your muscles will be exhausted at a point. So when you are stressed, your muscles are tensed, leading towards bodily pains also. So you will see, जब हमारे को किसी चीज को लेके बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेस हो जाता है, हमारे शोल्डर्स बहुत पेन करने लगते हैं, जिसके लिए हम बहुत रिस्पॉन्सिबल फील कर रहे हैं, या हमारे नेक में बहुत पेन आने लगता है. दिस एरिया पर्टिकुलरली goes for a toss. Now, some people feel other symptoms like laziness or lightheadedness or shortness of breath or even chest pain or chest heaviness. This all can also be possible with physical stressors. Next is emotional reactions. I've spent time on anxiety and worry. I'll not jump into it. It is basically feeling overwhelmed, anxious, on the edge, and constantly worrying. Then irritability, anger, sadness, and depression. Sadness and depression are two different things. अगर हम sadness को समझें, sadness is उदासी. मुझे कुछ अच्छा नहीं लगा, मुझे बुरा लगा, कुछ टाइम के लिए लगा, और फिर मेरा मूड बेटर हो गया. That's sadness. Depression is मेरा मूड persistently खराब. मेरी लाइफ में कुछ अच्छा हो रहा है, बुरा हो रहा है, that has become irrelevant now, and I'm carrying the burden of sadness and low mood throughout my day. And it is persisting throughout days, going towards weeks, and carry forwarding. That's when we say it's depression. हाँ, मुझे किसी ने डांट दिया, मुझे बुरा लगा, that's sadness. That's a response. Sadness, डिप्रेशन तब बनता है, मुझे किसी ने कुछ नहीं कहा, मेरे दिमाग में कुछ ना कुछ चल रहा है, मुझे ओवरवेल्म्ड रख रहा है, उसके बीच में कोई कुछ भी कह रहा है, मैं बहुत जल्दी सेंसिटिव हो रही हूँ, बहुत ज्यादा देर तक वो मूड में लेट गो नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, मेरे साथ कैरी हो रहा है डिप्रेशन. सो इफ एनी वन ऑफ यू फील कि सैडनेस इज परसिस्टिंग फॉर मी एंड इट इज परसिस्टिंग फॉर एटलीस्ट 2 weeks, then you need to see a professional here. Sadness ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको 24/7 फील होगी. in that persistent phase also? It can be, but majority of time आपको heaviness, sadness feel होती. So if that's the case, reach out to a professional. We might be able to help you better in a one-on-one setup. Then difficulty in concentrating and decision making. How many of you have that difficulty? कि कोई भी decision लेना हो, it just stretches for hours, days, decision ही नहीं ले पा रहे. If you're struggling that way, I can see people are reacting yes. If you're struggling that way, is because you're stuck in making a perfect decision. And we are trying to avoid any negative consequences. And trust me, dono possible. There is no perfect answer or perfect decision. And there is no decision that's bulletproof without any consequences. So accept what consequences you're comfortable with. Next is feeling overwhelmed. Agreed, we can feel that way. Overwhelmed is when we feel more than one emotion. Sad भी feel हो रहा है, angry भी feel हो रहा है, disappointed भी feel हो रहा है, hurt भी feel हो रहा है, life में जो situation चल रही है उसकी वजह से helpless भी feel हो रहा है. On and all, it's a blend of emotions जो मुझे चीजों को manage करने नहीं दे रहा, मैं अपनी life की demands को meet नहीं कर पा रही. That is leading me to feel overwhelmed. Then thoughts running out of control, having restlessness, increased emotional sensitivity. I'm sure a lot of you have said this to yourself कि पहले तो मुझे इन बातों का इतनी जल्दी बुरा नहीं लगता था, but अब मुझे बहुत बुरा लगता है. That is because हमारी emotions को लेके tolerance कम होती जा रही है. Imagine कि एक rubber band है, elastic rubber band. उस rubber band की एक stretch होगा, आप उसको एक लिमिट तक पुल कर सकते हैं. पुल करने के बाद जब उसको वापस लाते हो वो अपनी शेप रिटेन कर लेता है. आप फिर पुल करते हो, फिर वो स्ट्रेच होता है, फिर आप उसको रिटेन कर सकते हो. ना इमेजिन कि आप उस रबर बैंड के ऊपर कुछ स्टोन्स रख दो या पेबल्स रख दो और फिर आप उस रबर बैंड को पुल करो. चाहे उस रबर बैंड के अंदर बैंडविड्थ है, इलास्टिसिटी है, वो तब भी उतना स्ट्रेच नहीं हो पाएगा, उतनी चीजों को ऑब्जॉर्व नहीं कर पाएगा. That's what happens when we are stressed for long. हमारी जो इलास्टिसिटी है इमोशंस को टॉलरेट करने की, वो कम होती चली जाती है. जैसे जैसे ये गैप कम होता चला जाता है, हमें चीजें जल्दी बुरी लगती है. कोई भी बात जो शायद सामने वाले के सिर्फ एक ओपिनियन हो या एक पासिंग कमेंट हो या फिर एक, जैसे हम कह सकते हैं ना कि वो अपने मन की फीलिंग्स बता रहे हैं, अपना परसेप्शन बता रहे हैं, but I can pick things that will hurt and I can just stay with those things. It's a theory कि जब हमारा दिमाग एक बारी नेगेटिव बायसेस के साथ आ जाता है, मतलब कि वो हर चीज में नेगेटिव चीज देखने लगता है, तो हमारा दिमाग ढूंढता है व्हाट विल गो रॉन्ग फर्स्ट, देन व्हाट इज न्यूट्रल और पॉजिटिव. एंड इफ यू फील कि आपकी इमोशनल टॉलरेंस कम हो रही है, हर बात जल्दी बुरी लग जाती है, आप बहुत जल्दी किसी भी बात पे रो पड़ते हैं. इट कैन बी एज स्मॉल एज कोई गाना सुनते हुए रो दिया, या फिर हमने कोई टीवी पे कमर्शियल देख रहे हैं एंड वी फेल्ट सैड, या किसी कैरेक्टर के साथ वी फेल्ट वेरी अटैच्ड एंड सैड. दैट इज ऑल्सो अ वे ऑफ शोइंग सेंसिटिविटी. नाउ सम पीपल विल से ये तो कभी कभार हम सबके साथ होता है, दैट्स ट्रू, बट इफ स्टार्ट्स हैपनिंग ऑफन, दैट्स वेयर योर इमोशनल सेंसिटिविटी इज इंक्रीजिंग. सेंसिटिविटी होना अच्छी बात है क्योंकि आप दूसरे के इमोशन को समझ रहे हैं या समझ पा रहे हैं, इट इंडिकेट्स दैट. बट अगर वो सेंसिटिविटी इतनी ज्यादा हो जाए कि आप उसके इमोशन से खुद के इमोशंस में ट्रिगर होने लगे, देन इट्स डिस्टर्बिंग योर सिस्टम. देन Mental issues that can also happen, anxiety disorder, depression, other areas of discomfort can also be there. Let's move to the next one. Okay, my bad. Okay, so mental and cognitive reactions. So mental and cognitive reactions, attention concentration, focusing, memory problem, forgetfulness. Forgetfulness can be easy forgetfulness. चाबी रखी थी भूल गए, या फिर we enter somewhere and we don't remember why I was here. It can be as small as that, then forgetting to deadlines, forgetting scheduling certain things. Mentally क्योंकि उतना लोड नहीं ले पा रहे हैं हम, तो हम चीजें भूलने लगते हैं. Then judgment becomes impacted. Then the thoughts are more negative in nature and we find it hard to switch off. And these thoughts leads to pessimism. Pessimism is कि फ्यूचर को लेके मुझे लगता है कि सब खराब हो गया, सब खत्म हो गया, कुछ अच्छा नहीं बचा. Does anyone on this group right now experience this negative self talk? कि हमारा मन जैसे हमें सामने से खुद बोलता है कि कुछ नहीं होगा, सब खराब हो गया है, फ्यूचर भी डार्क है, कुछ सही नहीं होगा. If that's the case, I just want you to raise your hand. I can see people raising their hands. Can any one of you also share कि वो thoughts किस तरीके से आते हैं? Just type it. Right. Someone has said कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि my thoughts are telling me I'm not enough. Nothing good will happen. I am the problem. Exactly. When we have a lot of negative thinking, either we are blaming ourselves, or either we are blaming others, or we are blaming the environmental factors like fate, God. कितने हम में से कितने लोग हैं जो we tell that my luck is not favoring, I'm not lucky enough, ये सब मेरे साथ इसलिए हो रहा है. Or how many of you feel कि no one loves me, no one understands me? That's also because of these negative thinkings. Now, there can be situations where people are not able to understand you. But if it's happening in every situation, every time, let's just need to introspect. I'm not putting it into black and white bucket, but we need to sit and introspect that. So, okay, my bad. So next is interpersonal reactions or relationship reactions. Again, very common things. सबसे पहले तो behavioral discomfort आता है. हम कम engage करने लगते हैं, withdraw करने लगते हैं, socially उन activities को उतना enjoy नहीं करते हैं. Communication challenges आ जाते हैं. Communication challenges में क्या रहता है कि चिड़चिड़ापन आ जाता है, हम सामने वाले की इमोशन से बर्डन होने लगते हैं, उसके इमोशन से कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं. कहीं ना कहीं हमारे रिलेशनशिप में वी डोंट फील दैट क्वालिटी बीइंग मेंटेन्ड. एंड इसकी वजह से कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स भी बढ़ने लगते हैं, छोटी छोटी बातों पे लड़ाई झगड़े होते हैं, आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हो जाते हैं, डिस्कशंस होने लगते हैं. एंड दिस ऑल कैन इम्पैक्ट द वे योर रिलेशनशिप्स आर. Now let's do a quick reflection game. Okay, what I want you all to do, I want you to recognize your personal stress response. अभी तक हमने सारे stress response के बारे में बात किया. Now I want you to recognize आप कैसे stress को feel करते हैं. This is an introspective exercise. आप बहुत simple तरीके से कहीं पे भी अपने पास जो पेपर है, पेन है, उस पे you can just write down how do you recognize the stress. Once you start to write down, and you're done, just give me a thumbs up. It's okay if you don't want to share. It's okay. We will not bring it up. We understand it's a very personal space. Take your time, reflect. If you want, I can go back and show those slides. So one was interpersonal, another was mental and cognitive. I'll stay on the page for a few seconds as well. Then emotional reaction, and then some physical signs. Take your time. You can feel stress in each bracket. Like physical भी हो सकता है, emotional भी हो सकता है, interpersonal भी. ऐसा नहीं कि एक ही होना चाहिए. Now I want you to write down what's one thing that stress you out the most. क्या एक चीज है that is stressing you in the present state the most? If you have identified that, then I want you to quickly reflect on how do you respond to it. आप स्ट्रेस को कैसे रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं? बाय रिस्पॉन्ड आई मीन आप कैसे उसके ऊपर मैनेज करने की ट्राई करें. What all we do to help ourselves. I'll wait for people to share the third question with me, which is how do you usually respond? If you can use the chat box and type कैसे कैसे आपको help मिलती है before I dive into and share the ways that you can regulate your stress. Okay, going for a walk, definitely. Releasing lot of endomorphins, helping us to manage cortisol. Somebody has written listening to music. That's true. You can also indulge in listening to brown music. Brown music है nature का music. It also helps us to ease down. आपने notice भी क्या होगा जैसे हम spa जाते हैं तो पानी की गिरने की आवाज is something that's playing in the background because nature music help us to feel better. Okay, somebody has written talking to a friend. Absolutely, we've talked about one aspect कि हम socially withdraw करते हैं, but ये coping भी हो सकता है. You know, coping can also fit in your hobbies. What are your hobbies? क्या क्या चीजें करना आपको पसंद है? Okay, somebody has written gardening. Okay, creative work. That's true. Creativity is actually considered very good way of managing thinking also. Because when you are investing your mind into creativity and you're trying to construct something out of it, that's the highest level of cognition is involved. तो उस टाइम पे आपका ब्रेन बाकी सारे एक्शंस को होल्ड पे डाल के सारी थिंकिंग उसमें लगा देता है क्योंकि उस टाइम पे आपको डाइवर्जेंट थिंकिंग आपको अलग अलग तरीके से एक ही चीज के बारे में सोचना है. सो लॉट ऑफ एनर्जी गोज इनटू इट. So creativity is actually a very beautiful way. Now creativity is कि लोग कहेंगे मुझे तो पेंटिंग करना नहीं आता है, स्टिचिंग नहीं आता. Creativity is just not that. You can pick a puzzle also. an adult puzzle and you can dive into it. That's also enough stimulating for your divergent mind to be indulged. So solving a puzzle can be that. Creativity can also be stimulated by watching somebody's artwork also. That how beautiful it is, how that person thought about it, reached to that point is also indulging into the creativity. Okay, so we'll move forward. Now, when we are talking about ways of managing stress, a very, very important word is about resilience. If you look at this image, it's a barren land and you see a flower coming out. Resilience is actually this, our ability to fight back, our ability to bounce back. No matter what is happening, our system is designed to adjust and bounce back. Now, when we bounce back, we need to identify ways to do it. One thing. Second, this concept is known as resilience. So, as I said, resilience is the ability to bounce back. Once we are able to bounce back, we see the situation in more control and more management. But resilience is a concept जिसमें फ्लक्चुएशन होना is a journey का part. आप अभी bounce back करोगे, you will go back into it, then you'll come in, come back again. It's like, have you seen a football? Keeps on bouncing. So it's the same way. Our life keeps on bouncing. हम किसी चीज से resilient होते हैं. Then we go back, something again comes in our life, then we again goes up. So it's a fluctuation. But जब तक हम bounce back कर पा रहे हैं, तब तक हम एक resilient human being माने जाते हैं. जब हम bounce back नहीं कर पाते हैं, that's when we say the stress has taken over our logical mind and we are not able to cope in that situation. Why building resilience is important? I like to understand from you all. क्यों जरूरी है, क्यों हमें स्ट्रेस को डील करना चाहिए, या क्यों जरूरी है मेरे लिए कि मैं स्ट्रेस को मैनेज करूं? है तो है, रहने भी दे सकते हैं. Why we need ways? To help ourselves. That's true. हमें resilient इसलिए होना है ताकि हम अपनी मदद कर सकें. What else? Why building resilience is important? To manage our emotions? Yes. When we are resilient, we are more regulated. We are more independent. We are able to manage our autonomy. To make better decisions? Yes. We are building resilience so that we can have a better decision making ability. Whether the decision is going to be better or not, we don't know. But हमारी ability better हो जाती है. That means कि हम emotions को side रख के और logically सोच पाते हैं. So resilience is important. It helps you to cope. It helps you to manage yourself. It helps you to manage your emotion. It helps you to deal with that stressor. It helps you to stay functional at the same time. It helps you to regulate your cognitive abilities. So resilience is actually very important. हमें इस पे invest करने की जरूरत है. If we are investing, staying stressed for 15 minutes, then at least spend 2 to 5 minutes doing something that ends up bringing resilience for you. So let's look what all can bring resilience for you. Okay. Another activity before we jump forward. These are the examples of negative self-talk. Negative self-talk हम सब करते हैं. अपने आप से ही, खुद से अपने बारे में नेगेटिव चीजें बोलता हूँ. How many of you have ever said one of these statements to yourself? I'm a failure, nobody likes me, I cannot do anything right. I'm stupid. I am going to mess things up. It's all my fault. I'm not good enough. Any statement that you resonate here, you can use the chat box to type that. I can see I'm stupid is something that's coming up. I'm not good enough. Nobody likes me. We all have felt this way in our life. It's a very common feeling. But this also takes away our ability to be resilient. जब मुझे अपने में ही ट्रस्ट नहीं होगा, I'm not able to like myself, how will I help myself? Let's do one activity here is that we try to write them absolutely positive. I'll take these three statements that you have mentioned in the chat box. I am not good enough, I am stupid, and I'm a failure. No, sorry, nobody likes me. So when we are using these three, I want you to write down the complete absolute positive of it. What it will be. Let's take first, nobody likes me. Everybody loves me. Fair. The second one is I am stupid. What would be an positive statement of it? I'm smart. I'm courageous. Somebody has written. Anything else? Any other way you think I am stupid can be? Somebody has written I am worthy. Absolutely. We all have worth to offer. The last statement, I am not good enough. Can you rewrite it in positive? I'm enough. That's the way to look at ourselves. So what I want you to do here is, I want you to take a screenshot of it and I want you to practice this and then utilize these positive ones as affirmations for yourself. See, one time we're doing it, it's just like a little spark in my head. I'll not change much. But if I practice it, is when I start believing it. Anything just said to you is not believable. But once we start to reflect on it again and again, is when we start believing in it. I'm not good enough, yeah, I'm a failure or I'm stupid. Maybe पहली situation में believe नहीं किया. Over the period of time, the incidences made us believe. So over the period of time, we need to counter it with the positive ones to stop believing in it. So I want you all to take a screenshot of it and please practice it at home. Let's move forward. Okay, so we'll jump on techniques now, how we can build resilience. So the first one is breathing exercise. So let's just practice it together right now. Okay. So I want you all to sit back comfortably. Comfort your back. Give your back a complete support. Adjust chair pe, bed pe, wherever you're sitting. Just adjust yourself and give your full spine a comfort. Now, select on any point on the wall opposite to you or any object. And just stay focused on it. Just stare at that object without blinking your eyes. Slowly and gradually, with the little tiredness in your eyes, close your eyes. Once you close your eyes, we are going to indulge in deep breathing, where I want you to take a long deep breath. Take a breath, inhale, and hold that breath. Hold for 4 seconds. I'll count 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ease the breath very slowly, very gradually. 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you ease, hold for 4 seconds again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Take a normal breath. Ease your breath and repeat. So we'll inhale for 4 seconds again. So we inhale 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we hold 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we ease 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we hold again 1, 2, 3, 4. Ease your breath. Take few normal breaths. And repeat one more time. So we inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. We hold 1, 2, 3, 4. We ease 1, 2, 3, 4. And we hold back again 1, 2, 3, 4. Ease your breath and just take few normal breaths. Slowly and gradually, just stay connected to your breath. Just simply notice, inhale and exhale without changing, without altering. Just notice. Now, slowly and gradually connect to your surroundings again by focusing on sounds around you, and slowly and gradually allow yourself to open your eyes and look around. Look around and connect back to your present. We did this for 3 to 4 minutes. You can continue to do this for 5 to 7 minutes initially, and then we can go up to 12 to 15 minutes easily. So breathing is one of the easiest and always available way to regulate our emotion. देखिए जब हम गहरी लंबी सांस लेते हैं, that indicates to our brain that we are safe. अब इमेजिन करिए कि आपके सामने एक शेर है, आप बैठ के गहरी लंबी सांस तो नहीं लेंगे. We will take when we are in peace. So that's where your brain get a message. Everything around me is safe. And it is no more worried. So जिसको भी लगता है कि तनाव ज्यादा रहता है या स्ट्रेस ज्यादा रहता है या वरी ज्यादा करते हैं, they should do this initially for 5 minutes twice in a day. Practice it for 2 weeks rigorously, and then tell me whether you feel better or not. Then second is grounding. It's a very simple exercise. Here we take care of all the five senses, and we do it through 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five things that you see around you right now. Try to see five things around you that just catches your attention. It can be anything: wallpaper, book near you, pen, water bottle, anything. Just allow me a minute. Okay. Now, look around for four things that you can touch: the pillow, wherever you're sitting, the table, the chair. If you like I have a glass top on my table, and then the wood, they both have different texture. Just try to feel the different texture. Like I have this cup, it has a different texture. Then I have a clutcher, it has a different texture. Just try to touch four different texture and stay there. Then focus on three things that you can hear apart from my sound in your surroundings. Stay there and try to figure out three sounds. I can hear the wind sound behind me. I can hear somebody walking outside my room. So anything else for you? Just try to connect with that sound. Then look around for two things that you can smell and one thing that you can taste. A very good example for taste is eating a raisin or a piece of chocolate, because it has a lot of texture for your mouth to experience. Now, this is called grounding technique. How it's helpful and why it's helpful? जब हम बहुत स्ट्रेस में हैं या हम ruminate कर रहे हैं या वरी कर रहे हैं, उस टाइम पे बहुत बार ये कहना कि लेट्स जस्ट लीव दैट सिचुएशन, बाद में सोचेंगे, या लेट इट गो, कुछ नहीं होता सोचने से, वर्कआउट नहीं करता है बहुत लोगों के लिए, क्योंकि वो इमोशन की ऐसी इंटेंसिटी में फंस जाते हैं दैट दे आर नॉट एबल टू हेल्प देमसेल्फ. सो एट दैट टाइम अगर हम अपने पांचों सेंसेस को इन्वॉल्व करके ब्रेन को मैसेज भेजें, बिकॉज our brain has this capacity of processing one selective thought at a time. So when we are sending such a strong signal to our brain, जो वो preoccupied thought था उसकी जो space है वो कम हो जाएगी, उस पर attention कम हो जाएगी, और selective attention जो है वो इस पे आ जाएगी, hence breaking the intensity, making it easier for you to manage yourself. So we can do this. Now we'll move to the next one. That's practicing gratitude. How many of you practice gratitude in any form? Gratitude का मतलब है thank you बोलना, खुद को, किसी और को, situation को, life को, भगवान को, whatever your faith is. Thank you बोलना. How many of you do that? I see one person raising their hand. It's a very beautiful exercise to practice. Gratitude makes us see the silver lining in the situation, makes us see the content and the comfort feeling in the situation. Gratitude also lower downs eventually our expectations. अगर हम continuously gratitude practice करेंगे तो इवेंचुअली हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशंस लोअर डाउन, एक्सपेक्टेशंस जब अनरियलिस्टिक हो जाती हैं, दे एंड अप मेकिंग अस फील डिससैटिस्फाइड। जब एक्सपेक्टेशंस हमारी लाइफ में डिमांड बन जाती है, नहीं मुझे तो चाहिए ही चाहिए, तो हमारी लाइफ बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होने लगती है। But gratitude is something that grounds you back, that pulls you back, and make you see small things that you can be thankful and grateful for, which look small because it's available in our life. We are privileged by it. But somebody who doesn't have, for them, it's not a privilege. So you can begin by writing a letter. Now, this letter can be a thankful letter to your own self, to someone that is in your life and you feel grateful for. So today I want you all to spend at least 15 minutes and write a gratitude letter for yourself. खुद से खुद के लिए चिट्ठी लिखिए और उसको कहीं पे रख दीजिए. Whenever you feel you're doing that negative self talk, खुद से ही खुद को हम अपने लिए गलत बातें बोल रहे हैं, go back and pick that letter and just read it. There'll be so much of comfort and warmth that you can offer to yourself in that situation. It'll just make your life easier. Second is journaling. Journaling is something that's a practice. It is to be done daily basis, or you can pick twice a week, thrice a week, whatever frequency work for you. And then you reflect on it every time. So journaling is also a way of self-introspecting. One of the easiest way that I do is when I'm going to bed, I look for two things that happened in the day that I'm grateful for, that made me feel better about that day. And I thank for those two things, either to myself, to the God, or to the surroundings, to the nature, whatever your, again, the faith is. So you can introspect 2 to 3 things that you are grateful for and just let your mind be with that thought when you're falling asleep. Then next is gratitude rock. What is gratitude rock? Any stone, pick that stone, and when you pick that stone, keep that stone with you. Whenever you feel the discomfort, you just hold that stone, see it, feel it, touch it, and just remind yourself for one thing that you are grateful for. So your stone is the cue. Let's say you are in your bag just looking for something else, and there's this small pebble, just pick that up, feel, touch, tell yourself one thing that you're grateful for, keep it back. So you can do that way. Gratitude walk is also a way of being connected to the nature, to the present. So taking a walk while you're observing things around you and being grateful for it. The nature, the tree, the flower, the track you're walking on, the loved one you're walking with, just connecting to the moment of present, allowing yourself to connect. Next is gratitude jar. Gratitude jar, is what, keep any jar or any container in your room, and towards the end of your day, write one thing, take a slip, write one thing on it, and keep it inside, something that you're grateful about, and let that jar fill. Daily, write one thing in that and put it in the jar. And once you are having a difficult day, just shuffle that jar and pick out 2 slips. It's going to help you. The next is gratitude meditation. Gratitude meditation is visualizing things that you're grateful for. Obviously, let's say I feel great that there are beaches in this world, but I cannot just go to a beach every time. But I can visualize one. Let's say I feel gratitude towards a very warm, fuzzy hug that my mom gave me, but I am right now here, I can't, but I can visualize that warmth. So you can just visualize it. Visualize का मतलब है कि हम उस चीज को break down करके वापस से अपनी memory में we bring it back. It can be imaginative also, it can be something experienced also. That's the power of a brain. We can bring something that we have gratitude in imagination also. So practicing gratitude is one way. Okay. I am curious to open this one. Self-compassion. क्या समझते हैं हम self-compassion से? You know, easy replaceable word जो आजकल हम बहुत commonly सुनते भी हैं, self-love. How many of us think self-love is selfish? It's the biggest myth कि अगर हम खुद से प्यार करते हैं तो हम selfish. If you're able to take care of yourself, then only you can take care of anyone around you. If you're not happy in your skin, if you're not feeling emotionally well, if you're not feeling connected to your own self, you cannot take care of anyone. So we need to have self-love and self-compassion. Self-compassion is when I'm not too hard on myself, when I'm not indulging in that negative self-talk. And when we have that warmth for ourselves, that I'm allowed to make mistake, I can slip on the road and things can go wrong for me, but that doesn't mean that I am not good, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve love. That's when the self-compassion begins. Easiest way to identify self-compassion is ki, what would you advise your friend here, your best friend here? You know, even if we scold our best friend for doing something again and again, even then we comfort her. Even then we tell her it's not your problem, you are not at fault. Even then we tell her, the opposite person was not good. Because when we love someone, we want to take care of themselves. And how can we not love ourselves? We need to love ourselves. We need to embrace the human we are. Something working out and not working out in our life doesn't mean that we don't deserve the love. We do. One of the way, if you can see this portrait, she's holding herself. So wrapping her fingers around herself. That's the way we can hug our own selves. So I tell my clients, when you're feeling overwhelmed, just hold yourself, hug yourself, and just breathe in your own arms. That really helps us to feel that validation, that comfort that we are seeking कि कोई दे दे. और उस टाइम पे क्या होता है कि हम किसी के पास जाएं, what are they in it, their emotional status, and if they're not able to offer that warmth that we are looking for, we end up feeling that I don't deserve or I'm not worthy of it. But what is important to understand is that love, comfort is something that someone will offer their own way, not the way I just want it. So if we can just indulge being a little more compassion towards our own self, that's the beginning of a beautiful world ahead. Okay, let's see some of the ways that we can practice. As I said, treat yourself like a friend. Then let yourself make mistake. Allow yourself that I'm allowed to make mistake. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness means being here and now. In the moment when we are doing a lot of self-loathing or we're having negative talk, We lot of time bring past and future into it. Just stay in the moment. Do something that just connects you to the moment, the grounding which we talked about. Then try not to judge yourself. By judgment, here we mean don't label yourself negatively. Don't tell yourself, I'm stupid, I'm not capable, I'm not worthy. Look for those alternative positive affirmations that we discussed. And if you think something is not letting you have that compassion for yourself, then reach out to others. Ask for help. Ask your friends to connect with you. The other ways that you can practice is focus on your strength areas, notice what you're doing right. Then we have also talked about letting go of expectations. The last one here is setting boundaries. How many of you struggle saying a no? Saying a no for a lot of us is very hard. Again, saying a no makes us somewhere feel selfish. But ना बोलना और कब बोलना चाहिए और कैसे बोलना is very important. ना बोलने से आप बुरे नहीं हो जाए. You know, we say that if you are giving a response rudely, then you might end up hurting someone for sure. But if you're saying a response that's not in favor of them, but you're saying by validating their emotions, that's when you're just telling your perception and your opinion. So you can tell someone, I know you really need this from me right now, and I would want to do it, but right now I'm not in a capacity to offer you. That's a way you set boundary with that person. Instead of bluntly saying, nahi, main to nahi karu. I can't do it for you. At times, no इतना important नहीं होता जितना important उसका communicate करने का तरीका होता है. And that makes the whole difference. Maximum conflicts are over tone, pitch, and word. It's not a conflict of you didn't stood by me. It's the conflict of the way you talk to me, the tone you picked at me, the word you picked at me. I was not happy. You can reflect any fight with your partner, with your friends, with your in-laws, anyone. The maximum fights are about this. And their boundary setting is the key changer. Moving forward, a very common question that everyone asks, how much time should I spend in self-care? There is no right time. If you don't have time, spend 5 minutes. If you're flexible a little, spend 15. And if you have a lot of time that you can put on your planner, 30 minutes or more. It really depends on you. You can choose activities also. Let's say over weekend, I can choose 30 minutes, like going for a pedicure or a walk. But let's say in the weekdays, I can only spend 5 minutes. Like I can spend, once I have my day, hectic day, I can spend only 2 minutes to 3 minutes with myself. So when I come back home, I change and everything, and that's when I spend 2 to 3 minutes with myself before entering and doing anything. And what I do is I just lie down, drop my head from the bed, supporting my neck, let the blood flow towards my brain, and I just breathe. And I just connect with my breath. I don't do anything, no thought, no gratitude, nothing, just connect with my breath. And just let myself notice my breathing. And after 2-3 minutes, I get up and I start the second half of my day. That's it. It can be as small as that. It's the biggest myth कि अगर मुझे अपने आप को टेक केयर करना है तो मुझे बहुत सारा टाइम चाहिए. आपको बहुत सारा टाइम नहीं चाहिए. आप 2 मिनट से भी start कर सकते हैं. And towards the end of it, what I just want you to know that stressors will come and go. Self-care, self-compassion, resilience, stress management is what we need to focus on. Just stay there and focus on. I hope this was of some help for all of you. At least pick one thing that you can begin with and see what it can be for you. It can be different for every one of you, but just pick one thing and practice that for 2 to 3 weeks to see the advantage of it. Any thought, any question? Good. I see people saying it was helpful. Breathing really helped them. That was the highlight. Okay. So towards the end, what I would like to say, thank you everyone. Thank you for connecting, staying here. If you have more questions and queries, please drop those queries on email and then we can take it from there forward. You can also seek out one-on-one help. We can connect to we're from Listen. We are working with Fertility Dost. You can connect to your Fertility Dost team and they can help you there to connect with us. And we have counselors, we have clinical psychologists on board with us. They can really take care of you forward. Thank you. Thank you for staying, listening to me. I hope something you will take from here.
Thank you so much, Sonal,
Thank
for giving your time to us. And yes, if anyone wants to take one-on-one consultation, want to meet Sonal or any other psychologist, please text in the group. Thank you for your time, Sonal. Thank you all for joining.
you. Thank you.